Step right up, boys, ghouls, and non-binary fools, and see the horror in bespeckled, resplendent color. Filmed in Scream-O-Vision. Welcome to the Horrorporium.
Hi friends, welcome back. I'm Flounder.
Welcome to it. I'm Trashley.
And we're, at it again, another episode of the Horrorporium.
Yeah.
We're both a little bit under the weather today. I have a migraine. Trashley.
And I almost fell down the stairs. So, doing great.
We're trucking along, powering through. This is going to be a fun time for all of us. And I'm being attacked by a gnat again. Every
time. Dude, since you mentioned that, I see them sometimes when I'm like streaming or like we're recording now, and I'm like, Flounder cursed me.
Yep.
With her gnat.
This is I play myself because none of our windows have screens in our house, and during the day I'll sit with my window open because I like fresh air. And so I open the window, but then gnats and flies come in, and I can't kill them all. So I always have at least one attacking me anytime I'm in front of my computer.
Yeah, it do be like that.
Yeah.
I used to chronically have ants on my desk when we lived in our apartment. It was fucking awful because I'm terrified of bugs. So, like, there would be ants crawling and I'd be screaming, killing them, like...
That's so funny. I've definitely been there. I have like a stash of ant traps because we live out in the country, and so we get ants all the time, and I cannot handle ants. They drive me crazy.
That was this summer. We had like I don't know what it is wherever we live. We just have like an ant problem. I think the ants are stalking us. And like Lucas will be like, okay, we need to buy more ant traps, and then he will just set them out, and like, we'll get the ones where like they're clear with like the liquid in them, so like you can see all the ants, and he'll bring it to me and he'll be like, look at all the ants we caught, and I'm like, why are you doing that?
I don't need to see it.
I know, just throw it out.
I don't need to see it.
Just throw it out. I know there are no ants left. I haven't seen any. Like, just get rid of it. I don't want to see it. I don't care.
Just remove them from this house. Aaron is also scared of bugs, so we're both on the same page of like, immediately throw them out. Get rid of them.
Yep.
I do not want them near me. So we're going to start off with another game this week, as we do every week, but I will be leading the game this time.
Ooh, I'm nervous.
It's going to be our first time doing it, so it might be a little rough. It's going to be essentially a 20-question style game of who's that murderer. So I've picked 3 murderers for Trashley to ask me questions to narrow down, so see if she can figure out who they are. So
okay. Am I gonna have like a time limit, or is it just like
just
can ask so many questions, or are we doing like 20 questions? Or
we can do like 20 questions.
Okay.
And if you don't get it in the 20 questions, that's it. You lose.
Do random guesses count as a question?
I will not count those as a question.
Okay. Okay. Are they male?
Yes.
Okay. Are they from like a movie franchise?
Yes.
Is it a well-known movie franchise?
Yes.
Okay. Do they have knives for fingers?
No.
Okay, do they wear a mask?
No.
Ooh, okay, are they from, like, the 90s?
Maybe?
That's a hard question. Yeah, I was gonna say, I don't know about that question, actually. I don't know when things are from either, so, okay, so The no mask thing really throws me off because like everybody I'm thinking about has a mask. And you said they're from a movie franchise?
Mm-hmm.
Would it be a movie franchise I know?
Yes.
Okay. Oh god. Is it Pinhead?
Yes.
Oh my god, it is?
It
Oh my
is.
lord. Like, I was like, no mask, maybe? So, like, shot in the dark?
I like was trying to think because I know there's like different Cenobites, whatever they're called.
Yeah.
I know there's like different ones. I'm like, do any of them wear a mask?
I don't, like, I've only seen the first Hellraiser movie, so I
Same.
don't think that any of them wear a mask. Like, the only one I can think of is the one that, like, wears sunglasses or something like that. But, like, that doesn't count.
Yeah. Okay. I have my second one.
Alright, the second one. Okay, are they a female?
No.
A male, okay. Or, wait, do they have a gender? Are there horror movie characters that don't have gender? I don't know. Are there non-binary horror
It's
characters?
a male.
I don't know.
It's a male.
I don't know. Okay. Do they wear a mask?
Yes.
Okay, are they from a franchise?
Technically. There's 2 movies.
2 movies. Ooh. Do I know who this person is?
Yes.
Okay, are they like
According to
popular?
our list, you have seen the movie.
Oh god. No. Okay. Trying to think of like other things like okay, so there's 2 movies. Oh no. Okay, do they use like a knife?
Do they? Hold on.
This is so hard.
Casually Googles to see if they use a knife at all in the movie. I'm sure they do. They use something knife-like. Like, there is stabbing.
Okay.
But I don't know if there is, like, they don't, I guess, this isn't a yes or no, but they don't have, like, a memorable weapon.
Okay, so they're not like like Michael who only uses a kitchen knife,
Right.
or Jason who uses a machete, or
Right.
fucking whatever. Okay. So they use like a lot of weapons?
They're very much like what is there they use.
Okay. Are they like a person, or are they
Yes.
I guess yeah, okay. I was gonna say, or are they like ghostly? I'm trying to think of like other things I can ask. Do they have a high body count? Like for killing?
No.
Okay. So they're a murderer, but they're not a murderer.
Right.
There's 2 movies.
Mm-hmm.
Is one of the movies like a remake of the first one?
No.
Okay. I was gonna say, like, Norman Bates, because I know that that's, like, there's the first Psycho and then the Psycho 1998, where it's just a
Right.
fucking shot-for-shot remake with fucking Vince Vaughn.
Yeah. It is not Psycho.
Okay, it's not Psycho. I have figured that out. Man, I don't fucking know. I have no idea.
So the first movie, here's a little hint. The first
Okay.
movie is a mystery with a plot twist, but it's a slasher technically. And then the second movie is a ghost movie.
Okay. A mystery with a plot twist.
Yeah, so it's paranormal, but it's a slasher.
Paranormal slasher. Interesting. Oh god. I don't know. I have no fucking idea.
Brahms from The Boy.
Oh, okay. Yeah, okay. I forget that movie has a second one.
Yeah.
I've never seen the second one.
It's the second one is actually a haunted doll.
A haunted... Why?
I don't know. It's
Wild.
stupid.
Wild. No, I had fucking no idea. I have seen the first movie. Like, I
incredible. It's so good.
It's very good. The plot twist in that movie is very good.
Oh my god. The reveal of him coming out of the mirror, that shook me to the
so
core.
Good. Sorry if you
good.
haven't seen The Boy. That movie's old. If you were gonna see it, you would have seen it by now.
It's been out for a while.
Yeah. It's still a good watch.
Last one.
Okay. It's a female.
Yes.
Okay. Do they have like an iconic weapon of sorts? No. Is it a franchise?
Yes.
Okay. Movie franchise, right?
Yes.
Okay. Why can't when I think of like female slashers, I'm like, most of them are men.
They really are. I can't think of a female slasher.
There was Billy Loomis's mom or whatever in
guess.
Scream 2. I can tell you right now, it's not Billy Loomis's mom. I don't even remember her name.
The way I haven't seen Scream 2.
Really? Oh my god.
I don't think so. I think I've seen the original Scream and then I've seen the new ones that came out.
Yeah. It's like that franchise is worth watching because it's just like it's a like coherent storyline throughout all of them. So like, and you know, you get Sydney Prescott and she's, you know, a fucking badass. So
I'll watch it.
Yeah, they're good. They're worth watching. So it's not Scream.
It's not Scream. It's not
okay.
Scream.
And it is a franchise.
Yes.
Is this person like the main character or like a side character?
It is the main villain.
The main villain. Are they like a ghost?
Yes.
Okay. I want to say Annabelle, but I doubt. No. Because she's not like the main in all of the Conjuring movies. This is really testing my like movie knowledge, and I don't have a lot of that. Like, I do, but I don't, you know?
Right.
Okay, so it's a female in a franchise. The main villain. Are there like 2+ movies?
Yes.
Okay. But like less than 5?
Yes.
Okay. So like 3 or 4.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, like the main villain. And this is a movie these are movies I've seen?
You've only seen one of them.
Only seen one of them. Okay.
To my knowledge.
To your knowledge. And she doesn't have like an iconic weapon. I think I asked.
She doesn't really kill with a weapon is the thing.
Is she like a hands kind of person, like snapping necks and strangling people?
If I told you how she killed, it would 100%
I would know.
give it away.
Okay, I would know then. So she kills in like an iconic kind of way.
Yes.
Okay. Is she like psychic?
No.
No. See, I was thinking like Carrie.
Yeah. That's
because I know that
it's very like specific. It's not like it's very specific to this character.
Is this like a supernatural thing?
Yes.
Okay. But not Carrie.
Not Carrie.
Not Carrie. Okay. See, I'm coming up with all these good ideas.
You are.
I'm almost there, but not quite. Like if you were to tell me, I'd be like, damn it, you know?
Yep.
I know that's it. Okay, so they're supernatural, but she's not like a ghost. Or she is a ghost?
She is a ghost.
She's a ghost?
Technically,
okay.
she's a ghost.
Okay. Is it like Sadako? Or like...
It's like Sadako, but it's not Sadako.
Is it the lady from The Grudge?
Yes.
Okay.
It is The Grudge.
I see, I knew I'd get there. Eventually.
I'm so proud of you. I wanted to be like, think of me. Think of who I am.
I should have known when you were like, she's supernatural, there's a franchise. You've seen the first one.
Right.
I was like...
You've seen one of them.
I've only seen the first one.
Well, that was fun.
That was good.
Yeah. And on the note of Japanese horror, like The Grudge, we're actually going to transition into the movie that we watched for this week, which is The Audition, a 1999 Japanese horror film by, what was his name again? Takashi
Miike, I think.
Something like that.
Hopefully, I'm terrible at pronouncing Japanese names. I just want to put that out there right now.
It is a movie adaptation of a novel by the same name by Ryu Murakami, and it was incredible. I really enjoyed it.
It was very good.
Would I watch it a second time? Probably not.
I would watch it again knowing what I know now. Mm-hmm. Am I going to actually watch it again? No. Probably not.
Drive me crazy. I can, like, the gnat knows where the camera is and just keeps flying right in front of it. I'm going
oh my god
to lose my mind. Yeah, I personally don't know if I could sit through this movie a second time. I loved watching it the first time, but it is a slow watch, and I don't know if, like, it's such a slow watch that I don't know that I could sit through the ending a second time for it.
Oh my gosh. It's... Okay, so I feel like we should do, like, a spoiler-free before we actually, like, talk about things. I really liked this movie. I don't like slow movies, but knowing what happens, like, in the end, like, kind of drove me to keep watching it, you know? But, like, it's also, like... It has a good story. It's not just like, oh, like, you know, people get murdered, woo, like, you know, like you would watch, you know, fucking Halloween or Nightmare on Elm Street, those kind of movies. Like, I wouldn't watch this again because I don't like slow movies and I know how it ends. But, like, it's good for watching a first time.
Yeah.
Like, but it's very long. It's like an hour and 50-something minutes. And, like...
Nothing
most
really
of it is slow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
like, it's not a horror movie until the last 20 minutes.
Right. A quick just a little synopsis of what this movie is. Spoiler free, of course, is it follows the main character, with his name is, I have the hiccups now, which is great.
Aoyama,
yeah,
I think.
Aoyama. He is a widower who is raising his, like, teenage son, and his son tells him that he thinks he should get remarried. So Aoyama and his friend stage a audition to find him a new wife, and then he falls in love with somebody who's just a little unusual and not quite what she seems. That's just a very spoiler-free just description of the movie. And I think the storyline was incredible. It was very unsettling without being in your face scary, which is always refreshing to not have a movie rely on jump scares and, like, loud noises or even just, like, over the top gore. I think I caught the gnat. It's nice to not have a movie rely on all of those elements to be scary, and it very much is an art. I would think of it as an artsy horror film where a lot of the scares rely on the staging and, like, how quiet some scenes are, the colors in the scenes. That was something that I noticed this entire movie that I really enjoyed.
Yeah. I had a thought, and then it flew away.
Goodbye, thought.
Goodbye, thought. It's gone forever. No, I really did like this movie. Like, I'm not one to watch like any movie realistically like that's in another language with the subtitles because like my brain wants to do two things at once, and I like to listen to stuff and also do things at the same time. So like it was kind of hard for me to like sit down and watch this and read all the subtitles and do all of the things, and like we were also taking notes and like like we watched this on Tubi. It's free. Go watch it if you haven't seen it. If you don't like gore though, please don't go watch this movie because like you'll get to the last 20 minutes and clock out because like and then you'll have wasted an hour and a half.
Yes. Yep.
to not get the best part of the movie, to me personally, because like Flounder and I, we were screaming.
Yes, we were screaming.
Actually screaming watching this movie. Like not until the last 20 minutes, but like it was slow, but in like a good way. Like the storytelling was really good. Like I very much enjoyed this movie, and I'm glad that like we watched it because like this has been on like my like list for a long time. I'm like, I want to watch this movie because like everybody who talks about it is like, wow, it's really fucked up, like whatever. And like I was sitting there for like the first hour and a half being like, okay, when? Okay, when do the things happen? But like the payoff is so good that like you gotta watch it. Like you gotta experience it. You gotta know it. Like also, if you're gonna show it to anybody, make sure you tell them it's a rom-com, and then show it to them. Like if I ever show this movie to somebody who like has no idea, has never heard anything about it, I'm gonna be like, yeah, this is a romance, and then like just completely disregard like anything else. And like when it gets to the last like 20 minutes, I'll be like, oh yeah, romance horror.
Yeah, did I forget that part?
Oh, did I forget to tell you?
Right. Yeah, I'm gonna just preemptively say there will most likely be spoilers from here on out. I don't know where our official spoiler line's going to be, but I'm ready to dive into this movie. The end of this movie, like Trashley said, had us actually screaming out loud. I had half of my screen covered to where I could only see the like subtitles so I would know what she was saying, but I could not watch parts of this movie because it was so uncomfortable for me.
My thing was I had this blanket and like I was kind of covering my face, but I watched it. I was like I'm gonna watch this. I've been meaning to watch this movie. Like I don't want to miss it. Like so I was watching it, but like I'm also like a big fan of gore and like but like this wasn't even like it wasn't really that gory. It was just really uncomfortable.
Yeah. So this movie basically is a long build up to a prolonged torture scene. And it's only a single character who gets tortured. It's the main character, Aoyama. And the movie does such a good job making you care about the characters, but except for the love interest, because you know something's wrong with her the whole time. But it creates this incredible relationship between the father and son that makes them both so likable that you don't want anything bad to happen to them, but you know it's coming. Like the love interest, is her name Asami?
Asami, I believe.
Asami starts being real weird. You know she's being weird. You know something's up, and all you can think is like, please don't let anything happen to this father and son. Like they are amazing. They deserve the best. And then you start to learn that like the father's not perfect. Nobody's perfect, but you can see why she's doing what she's doing, but also she shouldn't be doing it.
Yeah. I think that, like, I really had, like, a weird, like, not relationship with the main character, but, like, I went back and forth a lot about, like, he's kind of creepy, and then, like, no, he's, like, a really good dad, he's really, like, you know, he just wants to find love again, like, you know, that kind of thing, but, like, the audition thing is, like, the whole premise of the movie, like, with the audition, like, it's creepy,
yes,
you know, to, like, do that as, like, as a person, be like, oh, we're gonna audition, like, these, like, women for you, like, you know, this movie might not even get made, but we're gonna audition these women so that you can, you know, find a wife or whatever. Like, I think that that's super weird. Like, I don't know. It's just like I get it, but also no.
yeah, no. It definitely is really weird. I honestly don't even know why I forgot about that being an aspect of this movie when it is the entire plot line. But now that you bring it up, like, yeah, you know, he was wrong for that one.
Yeah,
absolutely wrong for that one.
It's a little scummy, like,
yeah.
But at the same time, like, he went into it, like, with, like, okay intentions. It wasn't like, I'm gonna go in, I'm gonna date as many women as possible, like, or anything like that. Like, it was just like, he wants to find a wife, and he doesn't know how. And, like, you know, so, like, they do this. But, like, it's still a little creepy. And, like, I get it, but, like, also, like, Asami's a fucking murderer. So, you know, like, it's really, like, they're both in the wrong, almost, you know, like, I mean, him less than her, because she's actually murdered people, but, like, you know?
Something that I really noticed and enjoyed throughout the whole movie was how they, set up the scenes, like, video-wise. My brain's not working on full capacity, so words are not coming naturally right now, but the shots that they did really sold me on this movie, because if it were a moment that was supposed to be happy and feel good, it was always perfectly centered. Like, you could see, like, this is a good moment in the movie, so this is a good shot. But when they were being, like, scummy, there were moments where the camera was always, like, off-centered, like, coming from a weird angle. And the moments that you start to realize something's up with Asami, it's, like I said, it's, like, it's off-centered, it's crooked, the colors are changing, there's, like, always a little bit of red, and we know that red in, scary movies means bad. So the way they set up all of, like, the visuals in this movie was so incredibly well done. That sold me on the movie in general and made it more enjoyable for it being such a slow watch.
I think if it didn't have as much, like, story as it does, like, between him and Asami, and then him and, like, his son, like, it would have been a really slow watch. But, like, we got to the end and we were like, well, I personally was like, oh, like, it's over, it's been 2 hours, damn, you know, like, it didn't really, like, it is a slow watch, like, and it would be really slow if I watched it again.
Yes.
Because I would already know what had happened, but, like, as a first time watch, like, it was enough, you know. It was, you know, enough things were happening to the point where, like, I was like, oh, okay, like, this is enough to keep me interested or whatever. But, like, especially the creepy scenes where, like, Asami is, like, sitting in her apartment, and you just see this bag in the back. Like, this burlap sack that, like, you're like, okay, there's probably a person in there, or, like, body parts, or something fucking sinister. You just know. Like, you're like, what the fuck is this? You know? And then, like, you get to the end, it gets revealed, like, what's in the bag, and, like, you get to, like, see it all, like, this movie is wild.
It
like,
turns
for as slow as it is.
It turns into, like, it goes from being this little rom-com to an absolute fever dream of a horror movie.
I think I have figured out the end where it is, like, fever dreamy. Like, I was thinking about it, and I was like, okay, so he was, we're in spoiler territory, I'm just gonna say things.
Yep.
Where he was drugged, and she was there, Like, because he had never been, like, because there's a scene in her apartment, which I'm sure we will talk about more in depth later. But there is a scene where, like, Aoyama, I don't know how to pronounce his name, the main character.
Yeah.
He is in her apartment, and, like, you know, he gets to see her, and what's in the bag gets revealed and things. But, like, that, like, he had never been to her apartment. He didn't know where she lived, because there's, like, a scene earlier where, like, he's looking for her, and she, like, she has gone missing. Like, he doesn't know where she lives. He can't just turn up. I think at that point, she is describing things to him in, like, his drugged up state.
That would make sense.
Like, that's the way that I interpreted it, because I was like, that makes the most sense, because he wouldn't know what her apartment looks like. Like, and they used her apartment, obviously, like, for, like, you know, movie reasons, because,
Right.
like, obviously we know what her apartment looks like, because we've seen it, but, like, that is the only thing I can think of, is that she was, like, describing what she did to this other man who was in that burlap sack, like, and describing, like, all of that, like, as a, like, this is what's gonna happen to you now, kind of thing,
That
is,
makes
like,
sense.
what I was kind of going with. Like,
Yeah.
it just makes sense, I guess, because, like, the last 20 minutes of this movie are torture and fever dream.
Yes.
Like, that's it.
Yep.
So, like, that's all I can figure, is, like, she was describing to him, like, you
That
know,
makes
things.
sense.
And then there's, like, oh, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
No, there's, this, like, scene of her sawing off, like, her, I think it's her stepdad or whatever, the guy in the wheelchair.
Yeah.
She's, like, sawing off his head with, like, the wire that she uses to cut off the main character's foot. And, like, I can only assume that that also is, like, her describing what she did to, like, her stepdad. And, like, that would make the most sense, because, like, how would he know anything other than, like, he visited that man earlier, and that's, you know, like, he was asking where she was. Like, he didn't know anything. He wouldn't
Right.
know that he's dead, you know?
Right.
So,
A thought that I had while watching those scenes is I was thinking potentially what it could be is it's happening, the fever dreams are happening not like while she's setting up. Oh my god, these gnats. It's not happening while she's like setting up, but like while she's actively in the torture process. So she cuts off his foot. She saws it off. And in my head, I was like, it would make sense if while she's cutting off his foot, if he's in that fever dream of the scene where she's cutting off the dad's head, because he would be hearing the sound of his own foot being cut off, because
right.
he wouldn't necessarily be fully coherent in that moment. But
Yeah.
I guess that's the beauty of it, is not knowing exactly what
Right.
the writer was like imagining in that moment.
Yeah. Yeah. And, like, she also was, like, having a lot of fun, too, while she was, like,
having a
cutting off his
blast.
foot. She was, like, smiling and laughing, just like, ha ha ha, like, I'm cutting off your foot. Can we talk about how she threw his foot at the window?
She picked it up and just yeeted his foot at the window.
She really just threw it, and it leaves this tiny little blood splatter.
It was insane. It was so
Like,
funny.
That was the only part of the movie that, like, I actually, like, laughed at, because
Yeah.
I was like, why? Like,
She just
you're
picked it
already
up,
doing
happily
this.
threw it over.
She was
It was amazing.
fucking. That's so wild, actually. Like, I can't.
This is one of those movies where I want everybody to watch it, but I don't want to have to watch it again with them.
Yeah, no, like, if I had to show this movie to somebody, I would be, like, over on, like, my phone, just, like, scrolling Twitter or something.
Yeah.
Because, like, I could not watch it again.
No.
Like,
We honestly couldn't
no.
even make it through the book. Because the
No,
book is so
oh my
slow.
god. Okay, yeah. So I tried reading the book. I got like 20 pages in, and I was like, I can't do this.
Yeah, no.
Like-
I couldn't even do the audiobook. It just,
I don't know why I keep picking movies that have books attached to them. Like, I need to stop doing that.
trying to give us extra work to do.
Oh my
No,
god.
we had full intentions of reading the book and then talking about both of them and having another long episode, but like the book is just as unbearably slow. Well, the movie
Yeah.
is bearably slow. The book is unbearably slow. I could
Yeah.
not do it.
Yep. Like, my philosophy for books is, like, give it 100 pages, and if you don't like it, put it down. But this book, I couldn't make it, like, past 20 pages, because I was like, this is too much.
You're better than me. I won't even give books 100 pages. If you can't get me in the first 2 chapters, nope.
Really? I give it 100 pages. I learned that from, like, my English teacher, and, like, I have stopped books before 100 pages because they're unbearable, but, like, that's my thing is, like, 100 pages, if it doesn't ramp up by then and, like, catch me, I'm done.
I'm a firm believer that there are so many good books out there that if I can't get into a book in the first 2 chapters, then it's time to just move on to the next. And this one is definitely a move on to the next book.
Yeah.
Also,
I mean, I might read it eventually, but, like,
maybe
not in, like, 2 weeks or whatever.
I spent an Audible credit on it, and I'm going to return it and get my credit back.
Sounds about right.
I also want to share that this is one of those movies that if you are very attached to dogs in movies, the dog does die in the movie. And it felt very unnecessary. It was a very unnecessary dog death.
Yeah. Well, like, they put the spotlight on the dog a lot.
So, like, you knew it was going to happen.
You knew.
Because I remember saying at the beginning, this dog's going to die, and I'm upset about it.
Yeah, well, I think that it was more of a... Like, it wasn't, like, unnecessary, because, like, they, like... If you're gonna have a gun on the wall, it better go off at some point. You know, like, so putting a spotlight on the dog, like, and the dog dies, fine, sure. I think it was more to make Asami more of a villain.
Yeah.
Because, like, it's an innocent dog. You didn't have to do that, you know? Like,
so,
I don't know.
Asami's big thing in the movie is that she makes him promise to love only her. And she sees anything that's not her as him not following through with that pledge to love only her. But he is a father, and he also has a dog, and she does have full intentions. She does kill the dog, and then she has the intent to kill the son, but the son ends up in self-defense killing her, which thank God, because that boy deserves the world.
Dude, when he, like, I was so nervous for him, like, because I didn't know the outcome of this movie, so I was like, oh, she's gonna, like, oh shit, she's gonna kill the son, and then she's gonna take the dad away in, like, her burlap sack bag, and, like, I was fully, like, preparing myself for that. I'm really glad that's not what happened, because, like, I don't know, like, if the ending of this movie was she kills the son and takes the dad, I don't think I would ever emotionally recover from that.
Yeah,
you know?
no.
Like, I would have been thinking about it for days on end.
I'm a firm believer that horror movies should not always have a happy ending. That you see, one of my biggest pet peeves is when they would give horror movies a happy ending. But in this case, I'm very happy with it being a happy ending because the characters were, like, the protagonists were so likable, which is rare for horror. Especially with male protagonists. They're typically not likable. And then the villain was so unlikable that you're not rooting for them in any way, shape, or form.
Right.
So with this movie, I was very happy with it being a happy ending. Asami dies. The son lives, calls the cops. I think it's up in the air on if the dad lives or dies. I'm not sure. In my head, I'm telling myself that he lived.
Right. I would assume he lived, just because, like, he just had some, like, needles poked in him. Like, I would assume, unless she, like, put something on the needles. But,
and
like,
foot sawed off.
Oh, yeah. Well, no, because, like, I feel like you could survive that. Unless you lost, like, a ton of blood. But, like, I feel like the son called the cops, so they were on their way. Like, he probably survived. Who knows?
Yeah, I'm telling myself he lived.
Yeah, I mean, maybe they'll put his foot back on. He'll be like Ethan Winters, like, with his hands, you know?
Right.
Like, it'll just get sewn back on. He'll put some goop juice on it, and then you just go.
Not
like,
the goop juice.
some Sprite cranberry or whatever is in the bottle in Resident Evil.
Oh my god. Amazing.
But yeah, like I liked this movie. I wouldn't watch it again. Like 10 out of 10.
I need to give you your moment to talk about the fucked up fact you learned about this
Oh,
movie because it ruined my day yesterday.
dude, I wish I hadn't told you when I found out because I would love your live reaction here.
Oh.
But so I found out when I was doing research for this movie. There is a scene. It was the scene I mentioned earlier where it's the main character in Asami's apartment in like the fever dream or whatever the fuck it is. And it's like the reveal of the man in the bag. And like he's missing fingers, he doesn't have a tongue, he's missing an ear. Like you get like close-up shots on all of that shit too, which is fucked, but like also like we didn't need that. We could have just like we knew like because there was another scene where they mentioned that like they found 3 extra fingers, a tongue, and an ear at like a crime scene for no reason. But it's the reveal of the man in the bag, and you see Asami in the background, and she's like leaned over like her sink or something, and she pukes in a bowl and feeds it to the man in the bag. But the actress really did puke in that bowl. Like, in the scene, she puked in that bowl. Because, like, I have it, hang on, I have it, the dog bowl of vomit fed to Asami as a prisoner is in fact actual vomit of the actress. Takashi Miike claims that she is a method actress and insisted on doing this. I couldn't find a definitive answer about whether or not the guy eats her vomit, or like if they switched it out. I'm sorry, Flounder. But I couldn't find a definitive answer on that, so for the sake of my sanity, I'm gonna assume that it's like milk with food coloring. Like,
because it is like one take of her puking. You can hear her retching into this bowl. And I remember the first, like, when we watched it, I sat here, I made a note, like, it sounds like she is actually vomiting. Because a lot of times you have in horror movies where they are throwing up, but it's just, like, very fake, like, you know? No, it is, like, an actual, like, you can hear it. So it makes sense that it is actually her vomiting, because it sounds so real. And then she carries the bowl over, it's spilling over the edges onto her hands. Ugh. It's so gross.
And she feeds it to this guy, and he
he's
doesn't
slurping
have, like,
it down.
a tongue. So he's, like, slurping it with, like, the side of his mouth, so his head's, like, in the bowl. It's really awful. And, like, honestly, I will take the needles and the foot sawing off over this scene now that I know that the puke's real. Like, I don't know if he ate her puke. I feel like that would be, like, a biohazard or something.
That feels like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
That feels wrong. So, for the sake of my sanity, and the sake of everybody else's sanity, I am just going to think of it as they switched it out somehow in this one take of some sort. Like, and, like, the protagonist is standing there the whole time, and, like, he's got, like, his hand over his mouth, and he's like, oh my god, like, literally making that, like, the same face all the viewers were making when they were watching this scene. Like, he is the embodiment of us. Like, it's awful, and, like, I couldn't watch that scene again knowing what I know now.
Yeah.
I'm glad I didn't do any research before watching this.
If I had known that while actually watching the movie, I probably would have had to turn it off. I'm not...
Yeah.
We've shared this before. Trashly is the gore person of this duo. I do not like gore. I don't like extended torture scenes. It makes me feel physically... Like, it makes my skin hot and itchy. It makes me just feel physically uncomfortable. This one was a hard watch for me. I am more of a supernatural horror fan.
That's the thing. Like, we were both screaming at the end because, like, for those of you who haven't, like, seen the movie but you don't really care about spoilers, and are still here, she puts a bunch of needles, like, in his chest. Ugh. and she goes, kitty, 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 the whole time.
Yeah.
Which, actually, I did do a little bit of research on that, because it is translated as deeper, like, in the English subtitles, but it's actually a Japanese onomatopoeia for describing a sharp pain, is what I found.
That's interesting. I was gonna say, because I didn't think, I saw that it was translated as deeper, and I was looking it up, and that's not what translate brings up for deeper.
It's an onomatopoeia for, like, a sharp pain, which, like, makes more sense now that, like, I think about it, because I was like, I mean, deeper does make sense, because she's, like, sticking the needles in. The thing about it, for me, is needles and eyeballs. Like, those two things, for me, in, like, a horror movie, make me, like, physically, like, cringe, like, entirely. Like, my body will entirely tense up. And, like, she doesn't stick the needles directly in his eyeballs like I had originally thought. It's like under his eyes.
And then one above. It's in like the soft spots around your eyeballs. Like when you touch your eye, you can feel the bone, and then you can feel the gap. It's in those gaps.
It's there.
She sticks them in, and then she takes her hand and flicks them.
Yeah, oh my god, or in the, okay, so there's a bunch of needles, like, in his chest area, or, like, not really his chest, but, like, his stomach, kind of, and she, like, she's straddling him, and she slides her, like, legs forward onto all of these needles, and I'm like, oh my god, like, how could you?
It was, like, physically uncomfortable to watch.
And don't get me wrong, like, I love gore, I am, like, yes, blood, yes, all of this, but, like, I liked the main character, so it's, like, it's not like a stupid teen who's, like, having sex, and then, like, they get impaled, they die, like, whatever, sure, but when you actually care about the characters, it's a little different, like, and this wasn't even, like, bloody gore, it was just, like, it was just a lot of needles, and needles are something that I just don't like.
Yeah.
But, like, this also does a lot with, like, your imagination, too, because you see a lot of just, like, Asami, and she's doing something.
Yeah.
And you know, like, kind of what she's doing, like, it alludes to it, but it doesn't, like, show a whole lot directly, which I really do like. I'm glad that they, like, left some stuff to the imagination. Like, I mean, you do get to see, like, the aftermath of, like, all the needles and the foot and the, you know, like, but like, as she's doing it, you don't see it. Right, and I do like that. I'm glad that, like, they didn't, like, directly show all of this shit, because, like, that would have been a lot for, like, people who aren't, like, big horror fans, or they don't like gore. Like, don't get me wrong, if you watch this scene, you're gonna scream. You're gonna be like, oh my god, like, you're physically going to, like, retaliate, like, backwards, because, like, it's the worst, but, like, thinking back on it personally for me, like, it's also the fucking best. Like, this is great. Like, I love it, but I hate it. You know, like, oh, it's so good.
It was incredibly well done. It was a fantastic watch. It's absolutely worth it if you are interested in, like, a slow burn. It's not really a mystery, and it's not even really a horror. It's just, like, a slow burn, fucked up movie.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I'm trying to think of what I could compare it to that people would see a lot, but I have nothing to compare this movie to.
There really isn't any, like, my brain goes to Saw, because, like, the first Saw, because, you know, obviously, like, the feet and the cutoff thing. I know that you haven't seen those movies, right?
I've seen the first one, and I've seen part of the second one. Whichever one has the pit of needles, I've seen that one.
Yeah, that's the second one.
Yeah.
They only get better from there, right? I personally like those movies, and, like, just because I like the gore, I like the, you know, like, the convoluted storyline, but we're not talking about Saw, we're talking about Audition. But this movie is, like, 0 to 100. That's how I would describe this movie.
Yeah.
Like, that's it. Like,
yeah.
It hits you, like, you're like, oh shit, here comes, like, shit hitting the fan. And that's how I felt. I, like, once, like, it zoomed in on, like, the alcohol that the dad had been drinking throughout the whole movie, Like, I was like, okay. I was like, she drugged it. Here we go. Like, buckle up. This is it.
Yeah.
But also, there's a really, like, when they're auditioning the women, too, like, if we're gonna, like, backtrack, you just get to see a random pair of titties, and, like, Flounder and I both were like, oh my god!
And, like, I am not opposed to seeing titties. Don't get me wrong.
It came out of nowhere.
It came out of nowhere. There was no, like, all of a sudden, there's just boobs. There's no warning. Not that you need a warning, but, like, there was no plot reason for them to have it.
It just happened.
It just happened, and it was weird.
I also want to talk about why that is, that, like, that lady was disrobing in an audition to be in a movie.
In a movie.
Like, why? Why? Like, you did.
I don't know. I hope that's not what the 90s was like auditioning
Did they make every woman do that, but we only got to see the one pair of titties?
Right.
Like, is that what happened? I don't know. Like, it was just, like, it was really weird. It was, like, 2 seconds, and, like, you just saw, like, a flash of titties, and then they were gone. And I was like, what is this? Why did this have to happen?
Yeah.
It was weird.
Something I really enjoyed about the movie, I don't have a lot left to say, but I did take note and I wanted to share this. I enjoyed how they showed passing of time in the movie that I didn't really, at first didn't pick up on, and then started to pick up on his dates with Asami, where they would be sitting there and the room would be full of people, because you feel like their relationship moves incredibly fast. But then the more you watch it, the more you realize you think it's one date. It's multiple dates in the span of one. They're at different locations. The people are changing in the room. Sometimes the room's completely empty, but it's all one straight, like, conversation. So you're witnessing the same conversation between them, but their surroundings are changing. I thought that was really interesting, and I think it was a really awesome way that they used to showcase the passing of time in their relationship.
Yeah. It still feels, though, like they don't really know each other, like they've just met, like, the whole time, because, like, she's so quiet and, like, doesn't really talk too much. Like, there's a whole storyline of, like, her having been, like, abused as a child, and that's why she, like, does this thing, like, and, like, there's a lot of, like, ballet talk, because she was, like, a ballet dancer, and, like, that's a whole different thing, and I'm, like, not, like, and it doesn't really do it for me, because it doesn't justify her fucking murdering people, you know? Like,
not at all.
And I feel like they kind of tried to, like, give her a little, like, depth, and I do appreciate that. I'm glad that they were like, she's not just a murderer, but, like, I feel like the being abused as a child is done a lot.
Yeah.
So it's like, we've seen it, we've done it, like, it's already, whatever. Like, I get that this was 1999, but at the same time, it's like, at that point, they had already done those things anyway, like, as well.
Like, I'm ready for a new fucked up backstory.
Right. Like, she could have just been like, you know what, I just like to murder people, and I would have been like, hell yeah, girl, get it.
I just really hate men.
Yeah, like, I would have taken that. Like,
right.
I don't know. It just, like, I don't like, like, it's fine for them to, like, portray it, and, like, I'm glad that they do, but at the same time, it's, like, it is very overdone, and, like, they were just kind of, like, trying to make you feel bad, but, like, it doesn't work.
They wanted to give you a reason to, connect with and feel sorry for Asami, but she's so fucked up that it's impossible to do.
It doesn't work. Like, and the thing is, too, like, she's not just, like, murdering these men, she is torturing them.
Yeah.
You know? And also, that leads me back to the Bagman, because you know how she mentions, like, her producer or whatever, that, like, they were like, oh, he's been missing for 18 months. Yeah. The man in the bag is the producer.
Yeah.
I didn't pick up on that until I was like researching.
Oh.
I didn't pick up on that. I was like,
realize
oh,
that.
like this is just a man. Like
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't put two and two together. Like I am a very like shut your brain off and watch the movie kind of person. So like I didn't think about it. I wasn't like, oh, this is like a deeper meaning. I was just like, oh, this man is like he's fucked up.
Now there's
like,
a moth in here.
oh my god.
What is happening?
Gonna have a whole ecosystem
I
in
know.
your room.
What the fuck? Yeah, so we learn in Asami's interview, she shares that she works like or she's being personally watched over by this producer at another studio, and then Aoyama's friend looks into it and finds out that that producer has been missing for 18 months and says, I think you shouldn't mess with this girl. Something's weird about her. Aoyama refuses to listen, as, you know, men do. And he ends up going through with it, and then you find out that the fucked up puke-eating bag man is, like Trashley said, that producer that's been missing for so long. And
Yeah.
I think that is a very cool... It's very cool how they carried it through, but I feel so bad for that man living in that bag.
Oh my god. Yeah, like, I can't believe I didn't put that together at first. Because, like, like yesterday when I was, like, doing research and stuff, I was like, oh, okay, wait! Like, just discovering, like, a little cool thing that I didn't pick up on, because, like, I was gonna watch the movie again, and I was like, can I sit through this movie again? No.
No.
Like, I was like, I will not be watching this movie for a second time. No way. Like,
Yeah.
But-
I also will not be, but I will be recommending it to people, like all of you.
oh, yeah, like,
Everybody go
it's
watch it.
so good.
It's free to watch online, so
Yeah,
just type
like,
in Audition 1999, because otherwise you're going to pull up a lot of different things.
yeah. But no, it is a good watch. Like, if you're watching it for the first time, like, I enjoyed watching it the first time. I just wouldn't rewatch it. Like, it's not, like, it doesn't have rewatchability to me personally.
I agree.
It's time for this
Do you
week's
want to
horror
touch
news
on
and
this week's horror
booze.
news and booze?
Oh. Okay, so my news is that Terrifier 2 trailer dropped, and it comes out October 6th, I think?
Let's go.
Dressing up as tomorrow?
He wants to dress up as a real guy who murdered 9 people last year.
Oh, you're not doing that.
It's just a costume.
Ugh.
You think that guy's still out there? What's up with you and this clown?
He's
all
so
of a sudden?
creepy,
You're, like,
but
obsessed.
I loved him.
They never found his body. What if he decides to come back here? I wouldn't worry about it.
Wait a minute, aren't you that guy from the costume shop?
Sir, what are you doing?
Me,
He makes me so uncomfortable.
Blood on his shirt and his hands. when
I
he
love
got
him,
here.
though.
Oh my god.
He's such a good villain, though.
Right down to the little
Oh.
black dot on the tip of his nose.
Like, he does it so well.
He really does.
Really weird, you know that?
And, like, they
believe
kind of just, like, do
What?
whatever they want in
Something really
these
bad's gonna
movies, and
happen
I
tonight.
love that.
I know when Jonathan's lying, okay? I could...
Nice
hear it in his
costume.
voice.
Let's go.
Yeah, that's actually sick.
Look, we're gonna have fun. Stress-free environment.
Yep.
Speaking of surprises, kids, we have a very special guest with us today, all the way from Miles County. Please welcome Art the Clown.
Me too, pal. Oh. Oh
Ooh. Damn, what the? So much is happening. I can't keep up.
no. They're doing a lot. I literally, like, I'm excited.
Huh.
911? Do you have an emergency?
I simply cannot wait.
He's so scary. I haven't been able to make it through the first one.
I watched the first one, quite some time ago, actually, now, but Like, I made it through because obviously, like, I like gore,
Right.
like, but the first movie also didn't really have any story to it. It was just kind of like art doing some fucked up shit. And, like, but I liked it. I'm excited that they're making another one. Like,
that
it
one
looks-
looked more watchable for me than the first one was. The first one, I don't know. I have my thoughts and opinions on it. I would give it another chance now that I'm more into horror than when I first tried to watch it.
Right,
But
right.
because he is very scary in the scene in the first movie of him in the diner, like, lives in my head rent free. I love that scene.
Oh, yeah,
I just
yeah,
couldn't
yeah.
get through some of the slashings. It was so hard to watch.
Right. Well, the thing is, though, like, that movie is, like, famous for the scene with, like, the girl hanging upside down.
Yep.
And, like,
I could not make it through
spoilers
that.
if you haven't seen the first Terrifier movie. She gets sawed in half from, like, vagina to head.
Yeah.
And I watched that through my fingers because I was like, oh my god. But, like, the thing is, too, like, you see that happen to, like, men in horror. Like, they get, like, penises and stuff, like, mutilated and shit. So it's like, I guess seeing it from the other side, because, like, I could watch that shit and be like, whatever, like,
Yeah.
I'm not a man, I don't have a penis. But, like, seeing it from, like, the other side, to see it happen to, like, a woman is, like, fucked, you know? Like, now I know how they feel, and, like, I liked that. And, like, honestly, the blonde character, I don't even remember her name, she annoyed me, so I was like, whatever, like, it is what it is. But, like, I really like that movie, and, like, I'm glad that they're making another one. This one looks more, it reminds me of, like, the new Halloweens.
Yeah.
Like, Halloween 2018, and then, like, Halloween Kills. Like, it reminds me a little bit of that, almost, with, like, like, horror has been doing a lot of slasher comedies of, like, you know, like, I don't know why they've been... That has come back into style,
Yeah,
which
it has.
I'm kind of okay with, because, like, I like when, like, characters can have some, like, funny quips and then they die. Like, it's whatever. But, like, the first Terrifier also didn't really have any story to it. It was just kind of like, Art's doing his thing and people are dying. Cool. Like...
Good for him. Good for him.
good for Art.
Yeah. My news for this week is Hulu is creating a Hulu original Hellraiser movie.
Let's go.
And they just did the first peeks. I don't think there's a trailer right now. But the Jamie Clayton is playing Pinhead, and I'll put a picture on screen of the image that they released. But she looks sick. I'm suffering right now. I'm so sorry. I have not actually seen any of the Pinhead movies. I know them, but I haven't actually sat down and watched them. But the makeup it looks incredible compared to the original Hellraiser. So
Yeah.
I'm excited. I do need to watch it. I want to say it's not a remake of the movies. That's what the director David Bruckner like really emphasized, because he says this is not a remake. I just didn't think you could ever remake the original Hellraiser. It's too much its own thing, and it would be perilous territory for filmmakers, because how do you top that? This is a new story in the Hellraiser universe, which I think is always nice when the directors very obviously enjoy what they are making and in the universe of what they're making. So it's nice to see like the respects paid there.
I'm glad that they're not like, oh, we're just gonna like remake the first one, cash cow. Like,
Yeah.
I'm sad that they're like replacing Clive Barker, but you know, it is what it is. Like, you know, I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm sure I'll watch it. You know, whatever. If I don't like it, I'm gonna riot. But that's to be seen.
That is to be determined. Anyways, thanks for watching, friends. I'm sorry that this episode, it's probably not going to be the best of our best, but, you know, everybody has bad days. and I have migraines, so I'm suffering, but we're powering through. I think we did great. Again, you should watch Audition if you haven't seen it already. If you are interested in watching it, watch it. We enjoyed it, and I just clicked on something. I don't even know what. My brain is just not working. I'm fried. You can find Horrorporium on all socials. We're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, where you are watching this, or if you're listening on Spotify and Apple Music, it's the Horrorporium. Type it in, look for the television, you'll find us. And if you are interested in like our individual content, we both stream over on Twitch. I am twitch.tv/sinkingflounder.
And I am twitch.tv/trashthepelican.
Yes.
We also have an email,
Yes.
horrorporiumpod@gmail.com, if you want to send us your spooky stories or, you know, really anything horror-related, movies you want us to watch, review, games you'd like us to review. I'd love to do some game reviews. That'd be so fun. But, you know, suggestions, things like that. Like, really anything. I just want to read your bullshit.
Yeah. Send it to us. Tell us your ghost stories, your other scary stories. I love hearing just people's personal scary stories. Like, this is a scary thing that happened to me. Send them to us over at our email. We'll put it on screen. And if you would be so kind as to maybe possibly leave reviews on Apple and Spotify, that is really good for exposure. It would help us out a lot. If you like the pod, let us know. And you can even let us know in the YouTube comments and like and subscribe. I feel like we never say that, and we probably should.
Just remind you folks that we exist.
Yep.
And you should definitely like, comment, subscribe, do the things.
Yes.
Or don't. I'm not your mom, but I'd appreciate it if you did.
We'll see you next time.
And with that, our hosts are off into the night. We sincerely hope you've had a good fright. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.